Today, I'm going to be answering your commonly asked questions about Profit First. Hey guys, Abby Johnson here with Matterhorn Business Development. I am a certified Profit First professional. Here at Matterhorn, we do business mentoring and we help people implement Profit First. If you're interested in finding out more about what we do, check out the link below in the description. So I get kind of the same questions about the different Profit First accounts, and I just thought I might as well make a video on them since I kind of get the same ones over and over. So we're just gonna go through each account and just give you some more extra information about it. So the income account is pretty self-explanatory, I would think. A common issue with the income account is if you're directing all of your merchant deposits to that account, usually your merchant provider will also be taking your merchant fees out once a month or however often they do out of that income account. Now we want to make sure that your operating expenses are covering that. So what I've heard a lot of other people do is just when they see that charge come out, they'll transfer from operating expenses back to income to kind of cover that expense. I've also heard of people contacting their merchant and specifically telling them to take those fees out of their other account. So deposit into one account and take fees out of another account. This is just a small little detail that sometimes people don't think about, but if you keep having it taken out of your income account, then that's just that little bit of money that you could be allocating throughout your other accounts. Now, the next account is the profit account. I think a lot of people have a misconception where they say, well, I can't set aside for profit when I'm in debt. So what we want to do, even though you're in debt, you still want to start setting aside to that profit account. And then what happens at the end of each quarter, you normally would take half of that as a distribution to yourself as the business owner. But if you have debt, you're going to take 95%, you can take 100% if you want of the distribution, so still half. So if you have $1,000 in your profit account, you take $500 and you take $495 and throw that at debt. Or you can just do the whole 500 at that point. It'd be nice to still, go buy yourself a fancy Starbucks or reward yourself in some way. Maybe for women, go get a manicure for $40 or something. Like still do something that rewards yourself, but that most of that $500 should be going towards debt. So what happens is throughout the quarter, you are building up a big chunk to kind of throw at the debt. You still make your minimum payments throughout the quarter. So you're kind of like giving it little punches and then you give a big jab or whatever it's called at the end of the quarter and pay down a bigger chunk. And then what happens is as that you leave half in your profit account, you now have a little bit of a reserve. So maybe you are going through a hard time and you do need to pull from that, but it is definitely an emergency fund to don't touch unless you absolutely have to touch it. So you can still be setting aside when you have debt and it actually assists you in paying the debt off further. Now, the next account is owner's pay, and that should be basically your salary as an employee in the business. So you as a business owner, if you're still in the trenches doing a job, still managing, you're still being an active CEO, then you should be paying yourself a salary that matches your role in the company. If you were going to pay someone to replace yourself, this should match that amount. And then that way your pay is always guaranteed. You're getting a salary and it really guarantees that you get paid and you aren't foregoing your pay for the company. You're learning how to run your company while still paying yourself because you are a valuable employee. And I highly doubt you would go and not pay one of your employees. So you should treat yourself as such. Now, one thing with the owner's pay account too is some people take W-2 pay, some people only take draws, some people take a combination. Whatever it may be for you, it all comes from the owner's pay account, and you need to make sure to transfer the money from your owner's pay to your operating expense when payroll is run, because if you are a part of the payroll, the money in owner's pay is going to cover your portion of payroll. I've seen a couple people, this is kind of an oversight where they didn't realize they needed to be doing that. So I wanted to make that point. Next account is the tax account. A common question I get with this one is if sales tax gets paid out of this account, and the answer is no. Sales tax is not your money. If you just start thinking of it that way, honestly, I would suggest getting a separate sales tax account. And when you go to do your allocations, before you do anything, you put your sales tax into your sales tax account so that it's there. You don't get behind on paying it with the state. And then it's just all right there and ready to go. It's not your money. You're just the middleman forwarding it on to the government. So I would suggest having a separate account for that and just taking it right off the top and doing your allocations after that, divvying up your money after the sales tax. This tax account that we're talking about is going to cover your personal income tax from your draws and distributions, and also the tax liability of your business as a whole. Now, the final account is operating expenses. I don't have too much to say about this account because it is pretty self-explanatory. The main point here is it is easier bookkeeping-wise and logistically if you transfer everything to the operating expense account before you pay it. So if you're paying a tax bill, transfer from the tax account into the operating expense account first. If you're paying yourself, transfer into the operating expense account first. It just helps for bookkeeping purposes so things don't get too confusing with a lot of transactions. So those are kind of the commonly asked questions I've gotten thus far. If you have more, please feel free to leave a comment below and let me know. Make sure you subscribe so that you stay up to date with all of our Profit First videos as well as our other business development videos, and I will see you next time.